Hello everyone and welcome to This Nintendo Life. My name is MVZ and I'm not putting an episode number on this because shock horror, maybe if you've paid attention, if you're a smart person, you've looked at the megabytes on this and you're like, that's not 80 to 90 megabytes of downloading.
It sounds like the length of a podcast now as
look
well.
at that time. That's only 15 minutes or whatever this ends up being. That's not a regular. What are you? Are you having me on, MBZ? This is not a show. You're correct, dear listener. Wow, you're astute, a detective. I would expect nothing less of you. Yes, I'm joined by Bally. Hello, Bally.
Hello, MVZ.
Hello. And we have some things to talk about today. Some fun, interesting things, such as Bally. You did something. Do you want to tell everyone what you did?
Yes, so Caroline and I had another baby.
It was baby number 2. There you go.
Baby number 2. We had a baby boy. So we are now a 2-boy household, which is very exciting. Baby is just a few days old. And I thought I'd jump on mics with MBZ just to kind of say I'm going to go on podcast paternity leave again. But then this time we've got a slightly different plan. So this time, MBZ, he's got a busy December. He's a lot busier than the last time I had a baby.
We're launching a video game in like a week. So yes.
Yeah, and if you are an avid listener of This Nintendo Life, you will know that December is quite a busy and important time for our podcast because we cover our Go TT to Coty, we cover our non-Nintendo Game of the Year, and we cover the big one, our top 10 Nintendo games of the year. So this time, the podcast is going to go on a brief hiatus, and we're going to come back in January, refreshed, better than ever, and we're going to come back with our Game of the Year episodes. There is a chance that if, timelines align and I find a window and Caroline and I get in some rhythm with baby's routine, this kind of thing, that we might try and hop on mics and get out that Nintendo Game of the Year episode, but we'll see. No promises because things are busy. And then I guess there's another few ways we might hop on mics, which is if Switch 2 news gets announced, that might be worth just hopping on for a quick hot take to put that out there. And then MBZ, you've got a bit of a plan for Patreon?
Yeah, so I think basically the regular episodes will go on pause, but I'll be in there doing some Patreon stuff, some stuff on things. I might throw try and get somebody on to do something with that, or I'll just do a solo kind of Patreon show for November and December, and do some bonus bits and stuff like that. So if you're a Patreon person, don't worry, you'll still get some stuff. But main show is basically gonna have a wee bit of a break because. Hey, we've done this for 11 years now.
11 years. We're in November,
2024.
So it's been 11 years. So
yeah,
just have a little break. We're going to come back refreshed. We know there's a bunch of you out there who listen to all the episodes, and some people struggle to catch up with the old episodes.
Yes.
Now is your window. You have a few months to listen to all the old episodes if that's what you choose.
Yes, absolutely. But yes, we'll also have a bit of potentially some bonus stuff. So I am getting to the end of Virtue's Last Reward right now, and as you'll remember, I did a bonus podcast with the community for 999. I would very much like to do that again, so that will probably pop up. There's also some Patreon shows that we did this year, like our top 50 non-Nintendo games of all time, which we might throw out there for the regular feed as well. So if you have not heard those, then that might be coming up. So yeah, we'll have some stuff pepper in here and there just to keep the irons a little bit toasty, but yeah, otherwise just expect us to return in the new year in 2025 with your regularly scheduled podcasting and doing all that fun stuff, getting our Go TT Dakotas and predictions and stuff. Probably have a slight knock-on effect into February as opposed to our regular kind of cadence, but I think it should all be fine and it'll work itself out in the end.
Yeah,
so
it'll have a knock-on. We'll end up doing our 2025 Nintendo predictions perhaps a bit later than usual.
A little bit, yes.
We'll get there.
Yeah, and fingers crossed Nintendo doesn't in January be like, hey, here's everything you know about the Switch 2 before we get to do those. But
I mean, with the Switch 1, they did have the January Japan conference, which might be the last live conference Nintendo did. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was on stage. It was the
Yeah.
last on stage thing they did, which
weird.
is it's been a long time. I don't know if they would want to repeat that again. It was fine, I think. I remember us coming away from that being relatively disappointed, actually.
It was muted, but the Breath of the Wild trailer is one of the best things in the history of video games.
That's true. Yeah, very true. So
with that
there's always a
music.
silver lining to that stuff. So yeah, those are the general plans, which is basically there'll be some stuff in the feed, whether it be me doing additional podcasts with people or Patreon stuff. There'll still be Patreon stuff going up. I finished Metaphor. I played 92 hours of that game. I'll probably rattle about it for an hour on a podcast on my own, and a bunch of other stuff happening. So yeah, that's the idea. Give Ballyman here some time to welcome a new child into the world. Speaking of which, need to give this child
Names.
a name, Bally.
Names.
Now, obviously, you have the important task of giving them a real name that
Yes.
shall not be revealed to the world,
Yes.
as we like to do. But we have Bally Jr., who's
We have
child
Bally
1.
Jr.
We now have child 2, and
Child
child 2 has to have an appropriate name. And Nintendo suited a podcast official name. So we don't really discuss this at all. So I don't know what
No.
your thoughts are, what your feelings are, but
I don't know. I've got a couple of maybe options. So
okay.
what I like about Bally Jr. is Junior is quite a Nintendo thing. Obviously,
It
Donkey
is, yeah.
Kong Jr. Like, I like the idea of Junior. Obviously, you got Baby Mario, Baby Luigi. So the idea is
Right.
like Baby Bally. That was an option. With
Yeah, problem
Bally
is
Jr.
that they're not permanently a baby. Is the
That's
problem
my
there,
issue
so,
with that
yeah.
name of
Yeah.
Baby Bally is one day this baby will not be a baby. So going
No.
with Baby Bally, I don't know. That's one option, but maybe if you had Bally Jr. Baby Bally. Another option is like Bally Jr. the second or Bally
okay,
Jr.
right.
2.
Sure.
That could be shortened to like J2.
Bally Junior,
B2.
if you might,
But
which is really
Bally
bad. Let's not do that.
Bally Jr.
Bally Junior, God.
I don't know. I kind of like...
Toon Bally. He's like fucking Wind Waker Link. He's Toon Bally because he's number 2 as well. I don't know. I kind of like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm leaning towards like Bally Jr. the second, and that
Okay.
it would be shortened to J2.
J2. Okay. Interesting.
What do you think of this?
I can see it.
We could also lean more back towards Baby Bally. So you have Bally Jr. and Baby Bally.
I think Baby Bally doesn't work just because the
Okay,
the
yeah,
thing,
no,
or it's
I
gonna
see
change.
that. I see that.
I do. The more I think of Toon Bally, that's just very funny to me now. I was thinking, like, if we were gonna go down the DK route, it's
Okay.
like, are there other like can we call them Funky Bally? Like, is that
Funky
a
Bally.
route that you want to go down?
Bally, I like the DK route. Okay,
yeah,
this is
yeah.
opening up my eyes.
Yeah, so we could continue the DK thing. I'm trying to think of the other DKs that would work for this. I think Funky is fun. Cranky doesn't make sense,
Cranky.
obviously.
Diddy. Ooh,
Diddy, yeah.
Diddy Bally. That's
Diddy
not
Bally
Diddy-
doesn't quite roll off the
Diddy
tongue.
Bally.
I like Funky Bally. That's a fun one.
Funky
Yeah.
Bally. Okay. Much to think over.
Look, maybe we don't reach a final decision here.
Right,
There's some
we'll have a
options in the
think.
air. Again, like maybe the listeners, if they have any ideas
Yes.
they want to throw into the ring, feel free to, and maybe we'll make a final decision in 2025.
We shall.
And
We will
lock
get
it
there.
in. So, but yeah, there's some fun ideas I think that could work for
Sounds good.
this second boy, which
Yeah.
is good.
But yeah, if I'm not back on these mics until January, MBZ, huge good luck with coming into December
Yes.
with your company's published an incredibly good game this year in Balatro.
Yeah.
Wish you all the best for potential nominations and potential awards and all these sorts of things, because that's
Yeah,
a
who
very
knows?
exciting time of year. So
Yeah.
hopefully Balatro can come away with plenty of accolades.
Yeah, we'll see. Of course, not the most important accolade, our game of the year, of course, which
Game of the year.
we'll definitely get to deciding and figuring out what we want to do. Do you have any video game plans, Bally, during this paternity leave?
Yes, I could say my vague video game plans.
Sure.
So Nintendo wise, I still have my Game Trade game to play.
You do. So do I,
which-
actually. So
Yeah, I mean yours is like 6 hours, but 5 hours ish. Mine is Danganronpa, the original, I guess.
the
it's
original,
called.
yes. Trigger Happy Havoc. Is
Came
its
out in
subtitle.
2010 on PSP, right?
Yes, it was originally on PSP and then was ported to a bunch of places.
Yeah, I think it's
Actually,
ported to Switch in
Vita.
21.
Yeah, so I think it was PSP in Japan, and then it was Vita was where most people played it. The original PlayStation Vita in the West, then was ported to all the consoles and all the places. So yeah.
So I'm very much looking forward to that. That's probably going to be my Switch thing that I just check in. How good is that story for just checking in and checking out of?
Oh boy, I mean it's one of those where you kind of want to play it for a long period of time because you get so hooked on it that you're like, oh gosh, I can't stop now. It's one of those, but
okay, interesting.
I think you can still pick up and play it.
I'll try. I mean, we're a few days into this new baby, so I don't know when I'll start. It took me a few weeks last time because last time with Bally Junior, took a few weeks, but then I picked up Horizon. I went back to Horizon Forbidden West. I'd started it before he was born, and then played the rest of it after he was born. I just had an amazing time. That was quite a good game to pick up and play, drop in and out of. And in that same vein, another game I do want to get to that I've been meaning to for a very long time is Witcher 3 Wild Hunt.
Yeah.
I have owned this game quite a long time. I now have a new OLED 55-inch TV that I was talking about when we were talking about Neva. So I think that game running on my PS5 could look pretty nice, and I'd like to at least make a start with that game, and we'll see how far I go. And then another side game, a quirky game that came out this year that's I think it's only on PC at the moment still, is Tiny Terry's Turbo Trip.
Yes.
It's like this weird little pseudo GTA open world kind of mini thing, I think, and that's on my Steam Deck. So those are kind of like, and that's only about 3.5 to 5 hours long, I believe. So I'm gonna try and play all three of these. I don't know how many I'll beat. I'll beat Tiny Terry probably, and then hopefully Danganronpa, obviously in time for our next game trade game next year. But that is my vague plan, and obviously try and take a chunk out of Witcher 3. That would be ideal, because it's not often I get a window where I'm not playing games week on week to cover on the show. So you might as well go to longer games like an open world game like Witcher 3, which I think can be up to like 80 to 100 hours or something silly.
Yeah, which I think like last time with Horizon, you put that amount of time in, so...
Oh yeah, I was about up at like 76 to 80, which is kind of longest other than like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom I think I've ever dedicated to an open world game. So yeah, we'll get there. Have you got plans as well with this little break?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna like graze a lot on stuff that I haven't given as much time to. So like jump back into Hades 2, play more Fields of Mystria, play more UFO 50, like the kind of games that I move on from otherwise.
And Dragon Quest 3 is coming out.
Yeah, and there's Mario and Luigi is coming this next week as well, so I would like to check that out potentially. We'll see what reviews and stuff say about it, but yeah, I mean, probably just Final Fantasy 14 back into that, because that's an excuse to do that, really. So I'll... yeah, my plan is over Christmas to play Shadowbringers, which is the third expansion. The first one is the base game, so yes, it's the fourth story, but the third expansion for Final Fantasy 14.
Makes perfect sense.
It does. Look, it's all logical. When you're in it, you understand it. It's all good. So
nice.
So yeah, but actually, most of my December will be reading because the fifth book in the Stormlight Archive is releasing, and that will be at least 1,000 pages long. So that'll take up probably a couple of weeks of my life. So that will be very, very good, and be very excited for that. But yeah, anything else, Mal, you want to say before we sign off here for a little bit?
It's not as much having the time to play these games; it's just having the energy. Because
you came onto this call and I was like, wow, he sounds knocked the fuck out.
Yeah, I'm already like very tired. Okay, credit to Caroline, she's gone through way more than me, so I'm just having like this is my moan on the side. I'm not trying to compare the two. I'm just a bit tired, but I don't tell Caroline I'm moaning about being tired, because she will take my head off.
Don't listen to this, don't download it ever.
Don't do it, Caroline, I'm sorry. But we are getting through each day. We are just trying to find our new rhythm, our new routine, but we will get there, and hopefully when that happens, I just have a bit more energy, and I think, you know what, I need a bit of Danganronpa in my life. That's the vague plan, and we'll get there. We're not there yet, but definitely wanted to check in with you, MBZ, and put this little mini pod out to everyone listening at home. So
absolutely,
yeah,
great. Well, thanks everybody for listening and supporting over all this time, and we'll be back at you with some more stuff in 2025. So look out, we're coming. Until then. Goodbye.